Have you ever wondered where the names of places really come from? Today, we're diving into an absolutely epic tale that answers one of history's oldest questions for one of the world's oldest civilizations. It's a story about ambition so huge it shook the heavens, a love lost to a terrible curse, and a boy destined to unite an entire subcontinent. This is the story of how India came to be known as Bharatavarsha.
So, why that name? Well, you're not going to find the answer in some dusty old textbook. Nope. This story is woven into a legend that stretches across generations of gods, powerful sages, and legendary kings. And it all kicks off not with a nation or a map, but with the ambition of one single man. Our story begins with a king named Vishwamitra. Now, he was born a warrior, a kshatriya, but one day he witnessed a power that made his entire army look like child's play, the spiritual might of a sage. And right then and there, he decided he wanted that power for himself, no matter what it took.
So you've got this incredible cosmic showdown brewing. On one side, there's Vishwamitra, a mortal king using sheer willpower and thousands of years of intense meditation to achieve ultimate spiritual power. On the other side, you've got Indra, the king of the gods himself, and let me tell you, he is getting very nervous because Vishwamitra's power-up is so intense that Indra's own throne in heaven is starting to shake.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A single man, through pure focus, is generating so much energy that heaven itself is becoming unstable. Indra knew he couldn't beat this guy with brute force. He needed a different kind of weapon. He needed the ultimate distraction.
So, Indra comes up with a plan. It's desperate, it's brilliant, and, as we're about to see, it's pretty tragic. The goal? Break the sage's concentration at any cost. And to do it, he summons his court's most powerful, let's call it a secret weapon.
He calls on Manaka, the most beautiful and skilled of all the Apsaras. Now, an Apsara is a celestial nymph, a heavenly dancer born from the cosmos itself, a master of illusion. Her mission was to go down to Earth and seduce Vishwamitra, breaking a focus he'd held for thousands of years. But even for a divine being like Manaka, this was a terrifyingly dangerous job.
And you can see why she was scared. Her fear was absolutely real. The kind of power Vishwamitra was packing could literally incinerate a divine being with a single angry look. So she asked for backup, bringing the god of wind and the god of love along with her, and descended to the forest to face the formidable sage.
And the plan worked, maybe a little too well. Vishwamitra, who had kept his eyes shut for ages in meditation, opened them and saw Manaka. He was completely captivated. And for this great sage, lost in her charm, an entire decade, 10 whole years, flew by as if it were a single day.
But when Vishwamitra finally snaps out of his trance, the realization hits him like a ton of bricks. His thousands of years of penance? Gone. Wasted. He knows he's been tricked. But there's also a child from their union, a daughter named Shakuntala. Filled with shame and regret, Vishwamitra just leaves, heading for the Himalayas to start his penance all over again. And Menaka, being a celestial, can't stay on Earth. She leaves her newborn daughter in the forest and returns to heaven. Just a tragic outcome all around.
So the first chapter of our story ends in tragedy and abandonment, but the legacy of that broken penance is really just beginning, and it continues with the story of the forgotten child, Shakuntala.
Luckily, the abandoned infant wasn't alone for long. She was found and protected by birds, Shakunta, and that's actually how she got her name. A kind sage named Kanva discovered her, adopted her, and named her Shakuntala. She grew up in the serene forest ashram, completely unaware of her incredible divine and royal heritage.
And then, wouldn't you know it, fate intervenes again. A king, Dushanta, gets lost on a hunt and stumbles upon the ashram. He sees Shakuntala, and bam, it's love at first sight. It's a total whirlwind romance. They get married in a simple ceremony right then and there. But he's a king. He has to get back to his capital. He promises he'll send for her, and he gives her his royal signet ring as a token of that promise.
But fate, it seems, is not done with his family. A chain of tragic events kicks off. First, Shakuntala, lost in daydreams about her husband, accidentally ignores a famously short-tempered sage named Durvasa. Big mistake. Enraged, he curses her. The man you're dreaming of will completely forget you. Her friends beg for mercy, so he adds a loophole. The king's memory will return if he sees a token of their love. But then, the final blow. As she's traveling to meet him, that very token, the ring, slips from her finger and is lost in a river.
So you can imagine what happens next. Shakuntala arrives at the royal court, pregnant and alone, only to be met with a blank stare. The curse has taken full effect. The king, her husband, has no idea who she is. He denies everything. And with no ring to prove her story, she's publicly shamed and cast away. It's just devastating.
Rejected and heartbroken, Shakuntala is rescued and taken to another secluded ashram to live in exile. And it's there that she gives birth to a son who would carry the strength of both his parents, and a whole lot more.
So years pass. Her son, named Sarvadaman, grows up strong and fearless in the wilderness. Meanwhile, a fisherman makes a miraculous discovery. Inside a fish, he finds the lost royal ring. When it's finally returned to King Dushyanta, the curse breaks. His memory comes flooding back in a painful, devastating wave of guilt. He immediately begins a desperate, years-long search for the wife and child he cast out.
After years of searching, the king's journey finally brings him to the ashram of the sage Marichi. And there, he sees something that just stops him in his tracks. An unbelievable sight. A young boy, no older than his own son would be, playing with lions as if they were kittens. He watched, stunned, as the boy fearlessly pried open the mouth of a powerful lion cub.
Just to count its teeth. Can you imagine? Casually counting a lion's teeth for fun? Dushyanta is floored by the boy's impossible courage and sees the royal marks on his hands. He learns the boy's name is Sarvadaman, his son, and in that moment he's finally reunited with Shakuntala, and the family, torn apart by a curse, is made whole again.
Now, this reunion isn't just the end of one family's tragedy. It is the beginning of a nation's identity. That brave little boy who counted a lion's teeth would soon have a new name, one that would echo through history.
The boy, Sarvadaman, was renamed Bharat, and he grew up to become a legendary emperor, a Chakravartin, a righteous ruler who was so just and powerful that he unified the entire subcontinent under one peaceful and prosperous rule. His reign became the gold standard for leadership.
And so, we arrive at our answer. In honor of this great unifier, this lion-taming boy born in exile, the land he ruled was forever named after him. Bharatavarsha, the land of Bharat. It's a name that carries the entire epic saga, a sage's ambition, an apsara's sacrifice, a mother's sorrow, and a king's legendary courage. It's a powerful reminder that a nation's identity is forged not just by maps, but by its foundational stories.
But the legend of Bharat doesn't quite end there. It leaves us with one final, powerful question about his legacy. A king who founded a dynasty so great, why did he believe none of his own 9 sons were worthy of the throne, and instead pass his legacy to an outsider? Well, that is a heck of a question, isn't it? And perhaps that's a story for another explainer.